Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first edition of Meepleman News. We're going to talk about three things today, and that's going to be Essen, Essen, and Essen. If you're a big board gamer, you already know that Essen is the biggest convention that happens in the world every year. It happened about 2 weeks ago, but people have been talking about it for months and months. But you know, it's Essen, and you have hundreds and hundreds of new board games coming out. So the first topic for today was that I wanted to give a big shout out to three local board game stores who go out of their way to travel to Germany to bring you these board games before they can come through regular Australian distributors. So the first one is Games Capital. Glenn has been doing that for years. So has Julian from Unhalf Bricking Games, and Charles from LFG has been doing it as well. So big shout out to those three local Canberra board game stores. Check out their ranges. Give them a call to see what they've brought along. They usually try to bring in the biggest, hottest titles as opposed to every single million game that came out of Essen. So give them a shout. The second thing is LFG is also running Essen Unplugged. It's a big preview of all the games that he's brought down because LFG maintains a big board game library. And so I went down to the store a couple of days ago, and I think there's about maybe 20 to 30 titles that they brought specifically for Essen for their event called Essen Unplugged. It's this weekend. The details will be on the screen. So tickets, I think I've been told, running out. There's a few tickets left over the weekend, but there's a few more slots on Friday. That's where I'm going to be going on Friday night. So that's Essen Unplugged. Now, to the thing that shivers my core is I was listening to Board Game Breakfast. No, it wasn't Board Game Breakfast. It was a Q&A by Tom Vassell. He does his Q&A maybe once or twice a week, and someone asked him, actually, let me just play you the clip, and so you can see what is blowing my mind. So let's play the clip. All right, and play.
Do you think Century Spice Road still replaces Splendor now that Splendor has an expansion? Yes. I like Splendor, don't get me wrong. However, I've just recently played another game which I think is going to replace Splendor even more strongly than Splendor, and that is called Majesty. Majesty is an amazingly good game. I think it's going to do extremely well. You're going to hear a lot of people talking about Majesty. It's coming from Z-Man Games. Our review of it will likely go up next week. We'll do a Miami Dice on it. Excellent, excellent game.
So you heard it there. This is the first time I'm hearing about Majesty, and I did a bit of research, jumped onto BGG, and it's by the same guy who made Splendor. Very different from mechanics-wise, but like, man, I want to get my hands on it as soon as possible. It's coming out in December in Australia or January in Australia, so as soon as I can get my hand on that, I'm definitely keen. But yeah, I'm gobsmacked. Because as you know, I tried that Century Spice Road. I disagree with Tom. It's not better than Splendor. It's similar. It's faster paced and more casual, if you know what I mean. So what I found out is with Splendor, if you're a good Splendor player, you're definitely going to destroy someone who's new to it. Whereas Spice Road is more of an even playing field. Even at your best, you're not going to destroy them at such a margin that they feel that they didn't like the game. So because of that, I feel that Spice Road feels better to people when they're in a more casual mood, but Splendor is definitely the more competitive game. Speaking of which, I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now, Splendor Tournament. Now, the logistics of this is we're going to run a really, really big and awesome Splendor Tournament early next year. But what I want to do is see how big the demand is, see what kind of interactions there's going to be. So I would love it if you can put your details into this form and I will contact you over the next coming weeks to be like, hey, do you want to organize a Splendor night? It won't be big, it won't be like 20, 30 people, but hopefully we can get like 8 people, and so we can just demo out a Splendor mini tournament in preparation for the big one to come out next year. So that's Meepleman news for today. So I'll see you guys soon.